Thank you so much, Eitan, for showing up. I know it's been a bit of a struggle to get started, and thank you so much to you and your team for being part of this. I was just introducing you, and no better person than just you to introduce yourself, and also Kima Network. Just talk a little bit about what you do, what Kima does, and a little backstory in terms of how you came about being. Our users are mostly AI crypto. Keeping that in mind, if you could just add some flavor to what Kima does that Zoho users could quickly hop onto and quickly get started on Kima. So over to you. First 2 minutes, please. Thanks.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. So first, apologies for the technical issues. I'll start with some background about myself because I think it's related and relevant to the story behind Kima. So my career is for the entire career. I was dealing with technological projects. I was educated, trained to be a software engineer, and I'm a computer scientist at the end of the day. This is my background, and this is what I've been doing for over 3 decades. And I did a variety of roles in this space, not just development, but also product and services and marketing and sales and innovation management for large corporates. And as part of my journey, I came across a relatively short document back in 2012. Early 2013, and that was what we all know today as the Nakamoto white paper. And when I read this document several times, it really blew my mind because I saw a very clear description of a nexus of 3 vectors that each by itself is a huge innovation, and the combination, as I said, there's no better term than just say that it was a mind-blowing experience. 3 vectors. One is the technological one. The other was the financial one. And the third is the potential impact on the society, the societal structure. And it's very rare. I've been in this technological space for many years, and it's very rare to see something that really addresses these 3 vectors. And this is when I got extremely curious. And very early on, I started to see some of the shortcomings of the space. One of them was security, and specifically security of wallets. So my first project was with 2 friends, we created what turned to be the first MPC-based wallet for Bitcoin. So we solved one challenge that the wallets had back then in 2013, 2014, and that was the fact that wallets, that's pre-Treasure and Ledger and the cold wallets that we know today. So you stored your Bitcoin private keys on your phone, and if the phone is gone, your assets are gone. So that was my first project. We created this MPC-based wallet, which was one of its kind. And after that, I was involved in several other projects. But this is an important part in my biography because back in 2021, over 3 years ago, with a few friends, we started building some algorithms for hedging strategies. And one of the needs that we had was, and we used machine learning, we used various algorithms, and we needed assets, derivatives and options, assets that are being used for hedging, and that's when we came across the problem of interoperability. So we started solving this problem, and to address our own need, and eventually we decided to go all in and build a solution that would abstract the complexity related to fragmentation in the blockchain space, and also between blockchain and traditional APIs and systems. And that is what Kima is all about. Kima is, you can think of it as a settlement layer, or a TCP/IP, if you will, just a layer, a technical layer that transfers value and data between disparate ecosystems. So that's at a very high level, and happy to elaborate as we move on.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Eitan. Thanks for that. So I have a few questions. I have 3 or 4 questions before I move it to the audience and take the questions. The first question actually pertains to the topic of the space itself. And I'm curious, being I'm pretty handicapped when it comes to, I'm Farouk, I'm head of growth at Zo. So I'm pretty handicapped with respect to understanding the know-how around TradFi, DeFi, and the whole DePIN. I mean, I do get it at a very high level, but for the audience sake, and also me being curious that I am, can you just quickly give us some idea in terms of what does interoperability in the context of DePIN mean, and how can AI support that? And also, if you could explain the importance of interoperability in the DePIN space and how Kima addresses this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. So DePIN being an innovation or some kind of a layer that addresses infrastructure needs in a different way, in a decentralized way. So we know the infrastructure space that we use every day, and the same interoperability needs that we have in the infrastructure space will emerge and will come up also in the DePIN space. And I'd like to give several examples. First and foremost, when we're talking about infrastructure, some of it is infrastructure that stores and mobilizes data. Now, if you want to mobilize data between disparate ecosystems, let's say you have one storage system and you want to mobilize it or transfer or transport it to another storage system. I assume that most of the listeners here do not remember the days of the disks or the diskettes. So I'm a bit older than most here, and we used to carry those floppy disks, and after that those plastic diskettes to transfer files. Now, the problem was that, and the diskette is a storage device, right? The problem was that if I wanted to save a file on this diskette, and on let's say in the university where we used Unix machines, and keep working on it at home where I had a PC, a Windows-based PC, that was impossible. So we needed to convert files, convert the structure, because the operating systems and the file structure were different. So these are days before the internet, and look what the internet did. So HTTP is a protocol that abstracts away the differences between the platforms. So if you're browsing a website on your Mac or your Android phone or PC, or I don't know, any other device or iPhone, it will come up with the same way, and that's the HTTP. That's the power of a protocol. If you comply, if you use the protocol properly, that ensures interoperability. So I gave the example of browser. I gave the example of file, and when we talk about
Eitan, I guess we lost you there. Okay, there's some issue at Eitan's end. Eitan, can you hear us? Okay, let's give it. Okay, Eitan is back. Eitan, I'm just adding you just. Okay, yes, yeah, gone.
from a business perspective, unless there is a network effect and there's one player that rules everything and controls everything, you want to be able to be compatible with other systems. So that's one example. A second example, which Kima handles, is the payment part. So, and transactions in general, but specifically payment transactions. So again, Kima is an interoperability protocol. So we enable transfer of data across any type of system, but we also enable transfer of value, and we enable payment across any type of ecosystem. And what makes Kima unique is the fact that Kima enables interoperability also with Web 2 systems. So in the previous example, we enable potentially access to legacy systems and physical infrastructure that is a legacy one, not necessarily decentralized and not blockchain based. And the same applies for payments. So you need to enable payment rails for your users to consume the service. And again, you don't want to necessarily rely on one proprietary single payment rail because you want to remove the friction of consuming, of using your service. So even if you demand payment with your own token, that doesn't mean that the users need to hold the same token. They can hold, and this is the abstraction that Kima provides, users can pay with credit cards, and the service would still accept the native token. So this is part of the universal settlement. We call it the universal payment rail that Kima provides to enable access to new payment rails for these systems. And maybe the last thing, last but not least, is confidential data, private data, and identity. So again, if you're holding data in a confidential way, or you don't want data to be moved away from a single repository due to GDPR regulations, for instance, so you apply zero knowledge verifications, but then those verifications need to be accessed by other systems that reside on other ecosystems. So that's a third use case for Kima to enable access to these zero knowledge proofs, identity, confidential and private information across any ecosystem, regardless of the technological stack, including access to Web2 APIs to access identity and data that resides on legacy systems.
Got it. So on the same note, Eitan, could you just take us through like quick use cases of whatever that Kima is offering, and a few case studies or like success stories of projects building on Kima?
Yes, sure. So just to continue my previous point, so some examples of use cases and POCs and pilots and integrations that are leveraging the Kima capabilities. So one example is related to payments. So I talked about the need for a universal payment rail. If you're a service, you want your customers, as many customers as possible, and as many users as possible to consume the infrastructure services. But the payment part becomes a real pain because people, at the end of the day, even if they're not native blockchain Web3 users, still can benefit from the DePIN application. And then the question is, okay, but if they're not native blockchain Web3 users, how can they get access to the payment currencies? So Kima has what we call a liquidity cloud. That is a cloud that is the cloud concept where you don't need to bother yourself with the actual implementation. You just assume that the liquidity exists. So people can come in with a credit card, with a bank transfer, transferring euros and dollars, or they can come in with stable coins on any chain. If I have USDT on Tron and I want to consume a service on Ethereum, I can still do it in a seamless manner. And applications don't to bother themselves with the complexities of integrating to multiple ecosystems in order to be able to accept payments. So we partner with a couple of card providers that utilize that capability in order to provide a way for cards, prepaid cards. So you can top up a prepaid card with stable coins, and we make this connection between the credit card scheme or network as we know it. We work with FinSec Labs by MasterCard to enable that as part of some POCs. So the merchant would get fiat and the user pays with stablecoins. And it can work at the opposite direction as well. A Web3 application can accept stablecoins, but users will pay with fiat with credit card transactions. And all of that is done in a compliant yet a seamless manner. So that's the payment, the payment use case. And just to give an example for the data use case, an example would be that if you're running an application that uses a DePIN storage project infrastructure, so you use a decentralized file or data storage, and you still want to enrich the data with Web2 APIs, data coming from AWS, for instance. This can be done. So this integration between decentralized stored data and centralized stored data, this can be done in a seamless manner using the Kima solution, because Kima can provide access to both systems in a seamless manner. So with one API, you can move data from your AWS storage into a decentralized storage system without dealing with complex integrations.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Eitan. So I think we can just, expand this to the audience. Guys, anyone who has any question, please request to speak, and I'll quickly add you guys and you can have your questions. I guess we can restrict this to about 20 more minutes now, or maybe 15 minutes, and we can call it a wrap. Any questions, guys? Anyone can just raise your hand and I'll just add you guys as a speaker. All right. As it takes some time, Eitan, are there any contest giveaways? Are there any any campaigns that you're running that you want to give a shout out to?
So we're actually the best way to. We're doing it pretty often. We're running campaigns. The best way to follow those campaigns is through our Telegram group, the Kima Telegram group, or Twitter. And I encourage everyone to follow us on both media outlets. Just beware that the best way is to go to our Kima.network website and follow us from there. Just to warn everyone that there are some copycat groups and sites, and so beware not to connect to some scammers sites. Use our official website, Kima.network, and follow us from there.
Definitely. Thank you so much for that. So I guess I'll just give it a minute. Maybe I'll just talk a little bit about what Zoe is. So Zoe is trying to be an operating system, an OS for human-to-agent coordination. We are a messaging protocol at the heart of it. It works like Telegram. You can message your friends, you can text your friends, add them, and so on, and create group chats. And that's where it gets interesting. You can not just create group chat with your human friends, but also with your bots. So you can create bots based on data sources like YouTube channels, Twitter feed, Farcaster feed, and so on, and add those bots as participants in the group, right? So it's basically a group chat with friends and AI in a many-to-many model, right? So multi-agent system, and that's what we are trying to be. We are about 25,000 active users now. Our community size is about 80,000, and we are growing. And yeah, so that's pretty much what Zoe is. And we have recently launched, in fact, we will launch the Farcaster frame tomorrow, which lets you clone your Farcaster feed as an agent on Zoe, and you can mint that as well. So the campaign is going live tomorrow. Guys, you can just check out our link in bio, and that's where you can sign up for the waitlist. So that's about it. If there are any other questions, would love to take them, or we can call it a wrap, because I know I've overextended my time with you, Eitan. So if there are any questions, guys, please feel free to just raise your hand. All right. I guess we're good to go here. Thank you so much, Kima Network, your team, and thanks, Eitan. We will look forward to again collaborating with you on another space moving forward. But for now, I think this is a wrap. Any closing remarks, Eitan?
No, thank you for having me today and giving me the opportunity to explain this angle of interoperability in the DePIN space. So I appreciate that. Thank you, everyone, for listening. And I was just reminded that if you go to our website, kima.network, at the right-hand side, there's a menu for quests. So you can go there and check out the current running campaigns and quests. So that's the best way to follow these campaigns. So
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Eitan. Thank you so much. And thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.